Go.
Okay, let's pray. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the blessing you've given to us. As we begin with our class today, give us knowledge and strength. In Jesus' name we pray, Amen.
Mm. So, good afternoon, students. I'm just going to share my screen, ha? Tell me if nakikita nyo na yung screen. Yan. Can you see my screen? My slides?
Yes po.
Okay. So, let's start this lecture. I think your lecture on the nitrogen or the amino part of the amino acids and the special products are already done, di ba? Tapos na yung mga topics na yun. Ay, hindi pa pala kasi parang yung this morning dapat ni Doc Madarcos, anong topic nyo dapat doon? Topic nyo doon is, ayun pala yung amino acid nitrogen. Ay, tapos na ba kayo doon? Yung amino acid nitrogen? O yun yung
On Tuesday po, Doc.
Okay, sige. Pero yung special product, amino acid to special products, last week yon. Yung kay Dr. Aksay nandito sa schedule.
Kay Doc Madarcos din po ng Tuesday, Doc.
Siya rin mag-lecture. Okay. Sige. So, at first, ano mo nyo pala to? Lecture on amino acid catabolism. So, our topic for today is the catabolism of carbon skeletons of the amino acids. So, my source here is the Harper, the 31st edition, chapter 29. So, kasi akala ko nung una, matatapos nyo muna yung nitrogen, amino acid nitrogen and special products. So, kala ko last lecture ito. Anyway, ito pala magiging first. So, again, this lecture is just a supplement for your learning. You should still read your book, especially this chapter. Marami yung mga topics dito na diniscuss yung about sa metabolic defects. But I will be focusing on the pathways. Okay? And most of the pictures na ginamit ko dito nandun lang din sa book. So, kailangan nyo lang din basahin yun. So, at the end of this lesson, the student should be able to name the principal catabolites of the carbon skeletons of amino acid and their metabolic fates. Next is outline the metabolic pathway for each of the amino acid. This is focus on the carbon skeleton. Yung nitrogen amino acid will be discussed on Tuesday.
Tapos na po, Doc, last Tuesday po.
Ay, last pa? Last Tuesday pa? Okay. And then, eto na pala yung last. So, or yung urea cycle, yun eh. And third is to identify the specific metabolic defects associated with the catabolism of the amino acid carbon skeletons. Okay, so same pa rin. Catabolites, then the pathway, and then some of the defect for each amino acid metabolism. So this is the overview of the protein metabolism. So from dietary proteins, it will become amino acids when it is digested and absorbed in the small intestines. And once they become amino acid, nagbi-build sila ng proteins. And that amino acids, which are building blocks of proteins, can be divided by their carbon skeletons, the nitrogen or ammonia part, and some special products. But yung mga topics na yun, either tapos na or pag anyo pa lang, di-discuss nyo pa lang. So itong dalawa yun. Now we will be focusing on this one, the carbon skeleton. Okay? So majority of the carbon skeleton of amino acids will be either go to the glucose pathway or lipid metabolism that you have already discussed on previous lectures and exams. The others will be directed to the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle to provide energy. Here, so ito pinaka-importante, kailangan nyo ma-memorize the fates of amino acid carbon skeleton. So there are 3 major classifications of amino acid based on their intermediates. So some of the amino acids are glycogenic, meaning they are related to the carbohydrate metabolism. Others are ketogenic, and others are both keto and glycogenic amino acids. So kailangan nyo lang i-memorize. So pinakamadali para ma-memorize yan is memorize nyo yung ketogenic saka yung both ketogenic and glycogenic. And then the rest are glycogenic. Okay, amino acids are catabolized to intermediates for carbohydrate and lipid synthesis. So may correlation or relationship yung mga metabolism natin. So di ba pag kumakain tayo, yung napag-aralan natin, minsan yung carbohydrates, hindi lang glycogen ang store niya. Pag sumusobra na siya, nagiging lipid siya. Kaya rin sinasabi natin sa mga patients na hindi rin pwede masyadong maraming rice dahil mag-perform din sila ng triacylglycerol. Interconnected ang mga metabolism natin. So ganoon din naman sa amino acids. Pag masyadong marami rin yung mga proteins, makakatulong din sila sa carbohydrate and lipid synthesis. Kung saan may kulang, doon siya magdadagdag. Pag may sobra, doon siya maglilipat, magpupush through doon sa ibang metabolic pathways. So here is the more metabolically way to see the amino acid carbon skeleton. So ito yung parang tabulated kanina, mas makikita nyo lang dito kung paano siya naging glycogenic and ketogenic. As you can see, the lysine and leucine are the only purely ketogenic amino acid, di ba? So it is related to the formation of acetyl coenzyme A in the left part of the picture, then to produce acetyl coenzyme A. Okay? So lahat ng mga ketogenic yung related sa formation of acetyl coenzyme A. Kasi if you recall in beta oxidation, it is one of the product, acetyl coenzyme A, di ba? And also succinyl coenzyme A if yung fatty acid number is odd numbered. Kasi magkakaroon 3 carbon sa breakdown ng beta oxidation. Okay? So transamination, so since you've discussed already metabolism of amino acids into specialized products and nitrogen amino acids, you will be familiar with transamination. Ito yung pag-move ng amino group ng isang amino acid papunta sa isang keto acid to form the amino acids. Okay? So parang ako nag-lecture niyan ng nitrogen amino acid lecture. Parang yung amino group, para siyang bola ng basketball, pinapasa doon sa isang teammate niya. Ganun yung transamination reaction. So, it is the first catabolic reaction of most amino acids. Most, with the exception of proline, threonine, and lysine. And then the hydrocarbon skeletons are degraded to amphibolic intermediates, like you see in this picture. So, amphibolic kasi both, pag yung nasa citric acid cycle, kaya amphibolic yan, can be used as catabolism and anabolism. Kasi yan yung center na metabolic pathway na meron sa katawan natin, sa cells. Can be used for anabolic and catabolic reactions. And the intermediates that are important are these 5, yung naka-highlight na blue, the alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl coenzyme A, which is the next intermediate after propionyl coenzyme A. Kasi makikita nyo later, nakikita nyo yung intermediate is propionyl coenzyme A na kung saan galing yung succinyl coenzyme A. Fumarate and oxaloacetate, then acetyl coenzyme A. So we will dive on detail on this now. First, we will start with asparagine and aspartate to form oxaloacetate. Okay, so the amino acids are asparagine and aspartate. Their keto acid is oxaloacetate. So all 4 carbons of asparagine and aspartate form oxaloacetate. So magsa-start muna ng asparagine kasi asparagine is an amino acid with an extra amino group dun sa non-alpha non-alpha carbon kasi yung nag-determine ng amino acid is yung alpha, meron siyang carboxylic end, 'di ba, yung structure ng amino acid. Yung carbon na yon may connected na C double bond O at may connected din sa kanya na amino group NH3 plus and then isang hydrogen and then isang R group. Ganun ang amino acid, di ba? Yung asparagine, ang structure niya is meron siyang extra amino group doon sa R group niya. So kailangan munang matanggal yung amino group na yon by hydrolysis with the enzyme asparaginase. So asparagine will be hydrolyzed to aspartate by asparaginase enzyme to yield free ammonia or NH4+. Ngayon, yung aspartate naman will now have transamination reaction with pyruvate. So aspartate is the amino acid, the keto acid is pyruvate, and yung counterpart ng aspartate na keto acid is the oxaloacetate, while pyruvate, ang counterpart niya na amino acid is the alanine. So mapupunta yung amino group ni aspartate kay pyruvate dahil napunta na yung amino group ni aspartate kay pyruvate, magiging alanine na siya, magiging amino acid na siya. Tapos magiging keto acid naman si aspartate. So yun yung fate ng asparagine to aspartate. So si asparagine dadaan muna sa aspartate before becoming oxaloacetate. And these are the 2 enzymes. Okay, that's the first one. So tapos tayo sa oxaloacetate, sa metabolite na yon. Next yung mga madadali muna kasi unang dito nung sa libro natin. Next is yung glutamine and glutamate. So it's the same, mas may extra amino group lang yung glutamine. So kailangan mo na yung dumaan sa deamination. So glutamine will be hydrolyzed to glutamate and will yield ammonia, NH4+, with the enzyme glutaminase. And that glutamate will now go to transamination with pyruvate again. So glutamate will pass the amino group to pyruvate so that pyruvate will become alanine. And then, since nawalan ng amino group ang glutamate, it will become alpha-ketoglutarate. So, madali lang yung first 4 amino acids. Okay, glutamine, glutamate, asparagine, aspartate. Now, this one, the 5th one is the proline. Proline, catabolism takes place in the mitochondria. And this is one of the amino acid that does not participate in transamination. Why? Because in the picture on the right, makita niyo yung structure ng proline. Di ba? Yung C double bond O, yan yung carboxyl group niya. And instead na amino group siya, NH2 lang, and nag-form ng ring na siya. Okay, so yung R group ni proline kasi nakakonekta na sa amino group niya. So hindi ganun kadaling ma-liberate or malabas yung amino group ni proline. Kasi nga nakakonekta na sa naka 5 ring siya. So may covalent bond na nagko-connect sa nitrogen group ng proline kaya hindi siya ganun kadaling mapasa lang for transamination. So it first needs to be oxidized by proline dehydrogenase, as you can see in the picture, to form delta-1 pyrroline 5 carboxylate. So dahil sa oxidation na yon, ang magre-reduce si NAD, mapagkakaroon siya ng H+, so redox reaction, magkakaroon na ng starting ng pag-open ng ring dun sa proline. Okay? And then further oxidation will now open totally the proline ring by the enzyme glutamate gamma semialdehyde dehydrogenase. Okay? To form L-glutamate gamma semialdehyde. So dito sa structure, you can see that the ring is already opened. Okay? Open na yung ring, so pwede nang ma-liberate ngayon yung amino group. And then further oxidation will form glutamate via enzyme delta-1 pyrroline 5 carboxylate dehydrogenase. Okay, so further oxidation or catabolism, magiging glutamate din yung proline. And as we've discussed earlier, yung glutamate, magta-transamination na lang siya doon to form alpha-ketoglutarate. So yun din yung pathway ng proline with extra steps lang before maging glutamate. Okay? So let's discuss na yung mga ibang mga metabolic defects. Pag dun sa first part, ng proline dehydrogenase defect, this is what we call type 1 hyperprolinemia, but it has no associated impairment in hydroxyproline catabolism. While in the second enzyme, if there's a defect there, ang tawag doon type 2 hyperprolinemia, it is associated with impairment in hydroxyproline catabolism, and it also participates in the catabolism of arginine, ornithine, and hydroxyproline. So yun yung mas may effect. And we will discuss the catabolism naman of arginine, ornithine, and proline kung bakit siya related dito sa defect na to. Okay? So that's for proline. Now we go to arginine and ornithine. So arginine, if you've discussed already urea cycle, you know that arginine and ornithine are intermediates in the urea cycle. Okay, so first, arginine will be converted to ornithine via arginase. As you can see in the picture on the right, tapos magliliberate yan ng amino group na magpo-form and will go inside the urea cycle. So, etong urea, for the urea formation. Etong urea, nakita nyo na yan sa sa last lecture nyo. Okay? And that will be excreted. So now what we are focusing now is the carbon skeleton. So the carbon skeleton here is that will be left behind is the ornithine. So this is the structure of ornithine. Nabawasan lang siya ng isang amino group kasi yung isang amino group niya nabigay na doon sa urea. Okay? And that urea will now be transaminated to glutamate gamma semialdehyde to form L-glutamate gamma semialdehyde. Okay, via enzyme ornithine delta aminotransferase with alpha ketoglutarate to glutamate, the amino acid. Okay? So, as you can recall, it is still related to the glutamate, yung arginine and ornithine. Okay? So, for the mutation of... Wait lang. For the mutation of the enzyme arginase, mutation of the ornithine delta aminotransferase elevates the plasma and urine ornithine kasi hindi na ma-convert yung ornithine to glutamate gamma semialdehyde. Okay? And it is associated with gyrate atrophy of the choroid and retina. And then there's also a defect when there is an ornithine citrulline anti-porter defect that can result in hyperorthinemia and hyperammonemia syndrome. Kasi di ba merong in the urea cycle, as you recall in nitrogen metabolism, meron siyang part of the urea cycle will go to the mitochondrial and the other part sa cytosol. So may anti-porter na involved doon. But here, suffice to say na you just need to learn that there are defects in different catabolism of each amino acids. And ito yung mga common, yung mga sinasabi lang natin. And nandun naman yan sa book. Okay? The next one is histidine. So histidine will first be deaminated to form urocanate with the enzyme histidase. So, yung amino group ng histidine matatanggal and magpo-form ng double bond dun sa alpha carbon. Yun yung urocanate. And that urocanate will be further be metabolized to 4-imidazolone 5-propionate via urocanase. Okay. And that 4-imidazolone 5-propionate will open its ring to form Phe-glue. Okay, yung Phe-glue or the N-formimino-glutamate is an open structure na. Na-open na yung ring ng histidine via enzyme imidazole propionate hydrolase. Okay? And that Phe-glue will now be converted to glutamate with the enzyme glutamate formiminotransferase. Okay, so bibigay ni Phe-glue yung N-formimino group niya to the folate. And it will become glutamate na lang. So related pa rin dun sa first reactions, first intermediate na nakita natin. So yung glutamate naman, mag-transaminate na lang ulit yan to form alpha ketoglutarate. So lahat ng enzymes amino acids na na-discuss natin as of now is related to the alpha ketoglutarate. So there is impaired transfer of the formimino group in folic acid deficiency. If konti lang yung folic acid, mas mababa yung folate na pwede magkumuha ng N-formimino group mula sa Phe-glue. So, mangyari, Phe-glue will now be excreted. So, mas magiging less yung glutamate. Okay? And there is conditions like histidinemia, urocanic aciduria that are associated with histidase impairment but are benign disorders pag dun sila deficient. So may mga metabolic defects in catabolism doesn't have any much effect, but there are some na especially pag doon na sila sa converging pathways, yung malapit na papunta sa glutamate, doon nagkakaroon ng mga significant symptoms because naapektuhan niya yung mga ibang mga pathways. Pero pag mga sa initial pa lang nila, yung sa histidine, histidase, and urocanase, hindi pa masyadong affected. So that's the alpha-ketoglutarate. Okay, yung mga na-discuss natin, arginine, histidine, proline, glutamine, and glutamate. So dalawang metabolites na yung natin na nakita. Now we go to the next one, which is glycine. So glycine has a glycine cleavage complex that is found in the liver mitochondria that splits glycine to carbon dioxide and ammonia. As you can see in the pathway below, glycine plus folic acid as cofactor and NAD plus will form carbon dioxide, ammonia, and then the folic and a reduced form of NADH. Kasi glycine yung pinaka-basic na form ng amino acids, di ba? Yung glycine, ang R group niya is H, is hydrogen lang. Kaya madali siyang ma-catabolize. Saka simple lang yung mga intermediate niya, which is carbon dioxide and ammonia. But yung mismong nag-cleave sa kanya or nagka-catabolize itself has three major enzymes here. So glycine cleavage complex consists of three enzymes, which is H protein that attached to dihydrolipoate, yung picture on the right. So three enzymes yan. So yung first enzyme, ito yung enzyme na nag-liberate ng carbon dioxide. Di ba? Yung unang product, carbon dioxide. So that enzyme is the glycine dehydrogenase. So the function is decarboxylating. Next is the ammonia-forming amino-methyltransferase. So, ito naman yung magli-liberate sa ammonia, the second enzyme. Okay? So, yung glycine, matatanggal na sa kanya carbon dioxide sa first enzyme. Sa second enzyme, ang matatanggal naman sa kanya is yung ammonia with a cofactor of folic acid. Then next naman, if you can see on the picture on the right, there is a reduced form of sulfur bonds in the dihydrolipoamide. So the third enzyme is dehydrogenase, dihydrolipoamide dehydrogenase, to be oxidized so that the complex will be oxidized to disulfide bonds again para ma-liberate ulit yung sulfur niya, dalawang sulfur niya, bumalik sa original structure para makakapag-start ulit ng cleavage ng glycine. In return, it will reduce NAD plus to NADH. Okay, yun yung purpose ng third enzyme sa glycine cleavage complex. Now, for some disorders, so non-ketotic hyperglycinemia, so it is an inborn error of glycine degradation, and then there's also primary hyperoxaluria, failure to catabolize glyoxylate to oxalate. So because of that, it has symptoms of stone formation, di ba, yung mga oxalates kasi ano precipitate sa body. So can form urolithiasis, nephrocalcinosis, renal failure, and hypertension subsequently. And glycinuria results from defect in the renal tubular reabsorption. Now, next one is serine. So serine, ano lang siya, may one step lang siya before glycine. So serine will be converted to glycine via glycine hydroxymethyltransferase. Okay? So yung hydroxy group niya, yung OH group niya ng serine na extra, kukunin lang nung folic as a cofactor, and then it will now become glycine. And then glycine metabolism, as we've discussed earlier, yung complex, ganun lang din siya metabolize. And will then yield carbon dioxide and ammonia. Next is alanine. So ito yung alanine, transamination lang siya. Transamination of alanine forms pyruvate. So pag ang alanine nawala yung amino group niya, magiging pyruvate siya. Katulad ng mga previous metabolic pathway na pinakita natin, na involved siya sa transamination ng glutamate to form alpha-ketoglutarate, and also aspartate to form oxaloacetate. So yun lang yung pinaka-main pathway yung ng alanine is yung pyruvate. So pag nabigay niya yung amino group sa ibang keto acid, siya maging keto acid, naging pyruvate. And that pyruvate can be seen in amphibolic intermediate, especially in the Krebs cycle. Diba, yan yung madalas natin nakikita lalo sa glycolysis. So that's why it is a glucogenic amino acid. So no known defect in alanine metabolism kasi napaka-common niya, kaya di masyado pang discover na kung may defect siya dyan. Next amino acids are cysteine and cysteine. So pinagkaiba lang naman ng cysteine sa cysteine is yung cysteine is dalawang cysteine na magka-connect ng disulfide bonds, as you can see in the picture on the right. So magsa-start kasi yan, 'di ba, in protein structure, secondary or tertiary, di pala secondary, tertiary structure, secondary structure nga ng amino acids is disulfide bonds, 'di ba? So pag may sulfur to sulfur disulfide bonds, yun yung nagpo-form din ng mga ng mga curves or structure ng mga proteins. 'Di ba? So para ma-break, ang first na gagawin is mag-break yung disulfide bonds to form two molecules of cysteine. So cysteine or the disulfide bonds of cysteine will first be cleaved via cysteine reductase with NADH that will be oxidized and it will be reduced to cysteine. So magkakaroon ng 2 cysteine na. So mawawala na yung disulfide bonds, but there is still sulfur containing amino acid, and that cysteine will then be converted to pyruvate. So ito na yung mga diniscuss ko before ng amino acids, and up to now puro pyruvate na yung intermediate na pupuntahan nila. But in cysteine, it has two pathways. First pathway is the cysteine sulfinate pathway. For the cysteine sulfinate pathway, what happens here first is oxidation first before transamination. So cysteine will be oxidized via cysteine dioxygenase to form cysteine sulfinate. Okay, so yung SH niya magiging SO2 minus. So dahil nagkaroon nga ng oxygen or na-oxidize nga siya. And that cysteine sulfonate will be transaminated by any keto acid. So bibigay niya yung amino group niya to become a keto acid, tapos yung keto acid magiging amino acid. And that is sulfonyl pyruvate, which is intermediate lang na kailangan matanggal yung sulfur oxide. So para matanggal yung sulfur oxide, there's an enzyme which is the sulfinase that will liberate sulfur oxide, and then it will now become pyruvate. So ito yung first pathway. Second pathway is magpo-form pa siya ng isa pang metabolite bukod instead na direkto na pyruvate. Here, kapag ang nangyari dito sa second pathway is transamination first ang nangyari. So cysteine, magta-transamination muna. So maliliberate yung amino group. It will become 3-mercaptopyruvate or thiolpyruvate. And that 3-mercaptopyruvate will now be desulfonized na, magiging pyruvate na siya. And it will now be cleaved to pyruvate and 3-mercaptolactate kasi may matitira pang mga carbon structures. So may extra pa siyang metabolite na na-produce. So this is what we call the 3-mercaptopyruvate pathway kapag nauna yung transamination before the oxidation. Okay? Pero eventually, pyruvate pa rin yung yung end metabolite nila na connected sa Krebs cycle. So these are the metabolic defects. Cysteine lysinuria or cystinuria has defect in renal absorption of cysteine, lysine, arginine, and ornithine. Homocystinuria has deficiency in cystathionine B synthase. Cystinosis, cysteine storage disease, which has defect in carrier-mediated transport of cysteine. So marami itong mga metabolic defect na talagang hindi mo naman makikita talaga in your practice kasi di-determine lang din naman sila by enzyme testing. And usually yung mga gantong mga patients, hindi sila nagsusurvive. Kaya hindi mo talaga ma-determine sila ng sa inyong practice. Lalo kung di naman kayo magiging pedya. Kasi hindi na sila umaabot minsan dyan pag may problem sila sa enzymes. Now, we go to threonine. So threonine, the main metabolite here is acetyl coenzyme A. Okay? So threonine will have a cleavage pathway. It will be cleaved to glycine and acetaldehyde. So yung glycine with the enzyme threonine aldolase. Yung glycine, we've discussed this earlier, di ba? Yung glycine complex. So yung pathway pa rin na yun, ang dadaanan ng glycine to yield carbon dioxide and ammonia. Now, in the acetaldehyde part will now be further oxidized to acetate by the enzyme aldehyde dehydrogenase with a cofactor of NAD+ that will be reduced to NADH. And that acetate will have a coenzyme that will be catalyzed by acetate thiokinase to form acetyl coenzyme A. So kinase siya, so nagdagdag ng ng ang tawag doon, coenzyme A. So acetyl coenzyme A is, you know this in in glycolysis and also fatty acid beta oxidation, dineliberate, di ba? Yung central metabolite acetyl coenzyme A. So yan siya related sa Krebs cycle, yung acetyl coenzyme A. And also 4-hydroxyproline. So this is another amino acid, pero hindi siya kasama sa 21 amino acid. Pero ang pinagkaiba lang ng 4-hydroxyproline, may hydroxyl group at the carbon number 4 ring of the proline. So 4-hydroxyproline will be oxidized by hydroxyproline dehydrogenase. Okay? To form delta 1 pyrroline 3 hydroxy 5 carboxylase, which will then be further converted or hydrolyzed to gamma hydroxy L-glutamate delta semialdehyde. So ang defect dito sa enzyme number 1 or hydroxyproline dehydrogenase, pag may defect yan, mas dadami yung hydroxyproline, which will yield hydroxyprolinemia. So further down the metabolism, we will have oxidation to form erythro gamma hydroxyglutamate, and then transamination reaction to form an alpha keto gamma hydroxyglutarate, and then cleavage to form pyruvate and glyoxylate. Okay? So defect in this enzyme number 2 in the picture will increase yung mahaba yung delta hydroxyglutamate gamma semialdehyde. So i-excrete siya dahil hindi nagpo-proceed to pyruvate yung metabolism. Okay, so unlike proline, hydroxyproline, ang main intermediate na napoproduce na is pyruvate. Di ba ang proline, ang napoproduce niya is glutamate to form alpha-ketoglutarate na intermediate, right? So, in 4-hydroxyproline, kahit konti lang yung difference nila ng structure with proline, ang difference nila yung end product or end metabolite, which is pyruvate. Okay? So that's for acetyl coenzyme A and pyruvate. So majority are glycogenic amino acids. Okay? Pero ketogenic amino acid yung threonine kasi both acetyl coenzyme A na produce niya. Last Last two. So succinyl coenzyme A and fumarate na lang. So next is tyrosine. So tyrosine, the structure is there's a phenyl group or an aromatic ring na may hydroxyl group, yung R group ng tyrosine, will be transaminated by tyrosine transaminase to become a keto acid, which is p-hydroxyphenylpyruvate, the second structure. And that second structure, so on p-hydroxyphenylpyruvate, wala na yung amino group niya, as you can see on the picture, because of transamination. The next step in its metabolism is p-hydroxyphenylpyruvate hydroxylase, which will reduce the intermediate to form homogentisate. Reduce kasi yung carbon niya magiging imbes na carbon double bond, magiging hydroxyl group na lang. As you can see in the structure of homogentisate. which will liberate carbon dioxide. So nabuwas ng isang carbon yung homogentisate. And then, the third reaction is oxidation, again with homogentisate oxidase to form mallyl acetoacetate. In this part, nag-open na yung ring nung phenyl group nung tyrosine. Nag-open na yung ring, kaya nga makikita niyo dito, yung nire-write nila, pwede talaga, hindi na connected yung carbon number 9 dun sa carbon number 4. Not connected na. So, pwede naka-chain na siya ng itsura. Yung mallyl acetoacetate. And that mallyl acetoacetate will now, with glutathione, will now become fumaryl acetoacetate. Mag-move lang yung double bond via mallyl acetoacetate cis-trans isomerase. So no change in a number of atoms, just placement lang, kaya isomerase. So from cis configuration naging trans configuration na siya. Kaya nagmukha na siyang chain. Nag-open na yung ring ng tyrosine. And that fumaryl acetoacetate will be hydrolyzed to form fumarate, which is ito yung desired nating intermediate, and acetoacetate. Okay? And acetoacetate, if you can recall, kasama to sa sa mga keto acids. Diba sa sa mga ba yung topic na yon, yung extra energy ng ketone body formation, yung keto acetate with beta ketothiolase to form acetoacetate, acetyl coenzyme A and acetate, which are all ketone bodies. Diba? So kaya interrelated yan sa sa metabolism ng lipids. But what we are concerned here is that the intermediate fumarate. So tyrosine fumarate yung intermediate na connected niya sa Krebs cycle. Here, phenylalanine, actually, hindi lang nasulat na dito. Phenylalanine, it's like, lang din, metabolism of tyrosine. Kasi nga structure nila similar. Ang pinagkaiba lang, wala lang hydroxyl group yung phenylalanine sa kanyang structure. Diba? Yung aromatic ring and then OH group, yun yung tyrosine. Pero pag aromatic ring lang, walang OH group, yun yung phenylalanine. So same structure lang siya. So phenylalanine will be first converted to tyrosine and then yung tyrosine catabolic pathway will now proceed to form fumarate and the ketone bodies as acetate and acetyl coenzyme A. But the one that is shown here is the alternative pathway of phenylalanine in phenylketonuria. So it will just form reactions to form phenylpyruvate, phenylacetate, phenylactate, and phenylacetylglutamate. Okay, pag hindi siya pag nagkaroon siya ng problem sa enzyme converting phenylalanine to tyrosine, mag-accumulate yung mga metabolites na yan in phenylketonuria. So that's it for fumarate. Now the last intermediate is succinyl coenzyme A. So this part, hindi succinyl coenzyme A makikita nyo, kundi puro propionyl CoA, which is a precursor to the succinyl CoA. So doon din siya mapupunta sa succinyl CoA. 3-carbon coenzyme A yan. Okay? Unlike acetyl coenzyme A, 2-carbon or even number. So here, ito ba yan? Here. So lysine. So lysine has an extra amino group on the R group niya. Parang glutamine, asparagine and glutamine. May extra amino group siya. So yung lysine. So first na ma-remove is the epsilon nitrogen that proceeds the initial formation of saccharopin. Okay, so liberation of amino group, and then subsequent reactions also liberate the alpha nitrogen. So etong nasa picture on the left lang yung mas detailed metabolic pathway, pero eventually from the epsilon nitrogen or amino group matatanggal din yung amino group ng alpha carbon, which is here on the fourth step, the L-alpha amino adipate to form alpha ketoadipate. So it will remove in this transamination reaction, it will remove the amino group, the alpha amino group of the amino adipate to form ketoadipate. And that ketoadipate will now have coenzyme reaction with liberation of the carbon dioxide or C double bond O to form glutaryl coenzyme A, and then becomes crotonyl coenzyme A. Okay, that which is the carbon skeleton na matitira doon sa lysine kasi natanggal na yung dalawang amino group and also one carboxyl group. Crotonyl coenzyme A. And then next is tryptophan. So tryptophan, medyo blurred lang itong na screenshot ko na picture, pero mas clear yan sa book. Tryptophan, ito lang yung amino acid na may 2 ring aromatic rings side by side, and it will be oxidized to N-formyl kynurenine via enzyme tryptophan oxygenase. So magkakaroon ng oxygen, and then will be further hydrated to kynurenine by kynurenine formylase, okay, with formation of formic acid. So etong first 2 steps will now open the first ring, yung kynurenine. Okay. And then hydroxylation reaction to form 3L-hydroxy kynurenine. Tapos yung residuals niya sa taas, yung na highlighted na blue yung sa image, will now be liberated by the enzyme kynurenase to form 3-hydroxy santralinate. Okay? So kahit ako nabubol sa mga metabolite ng tryptophan. So eto, na-liberate na niya yung R group, yung mostly yung main backbone ng amino acid kasi na-liberate na niya yung amino group plus yung carboxyl group niya. So ang natira na lang, which is yung isang ring na close pa, and yung kaka-open lang na ring, which is 3-hydroxysantralinate, which will be further oxidized and then will until ma-open na rin yung second ring to form alpha ketoadipate. Okay, di ba alpha ketoadipate, we've already seen that in lysine catabolism. Di ba? Lysine catabolism, alpha ketoadipate will then form crotonyl coenzyme A sa further reactions like do sa lysine. Here, meron lang yung defect lang kapag may vitamin B6 deficiency, magkulang ng vitamin B6. For example, in patients na nag-take ng mga anti-TB medications, babaksak yung mga vitamin B6 nila. ang mangyayari, here, sa may vitamin B6, kailangan yung PLP, the cofactor, here, in the liberation of the amino and carboxyl group, yung 3L-hydroxykynurenine to form 3-hydroxysantralinate. Dito sa may PLP ka makikita sa gitna, which is a cofactor which is needs vitamin B6. So kung in vitamin B6 deficiency, wala yung cofactor na yan, hindi magpo-proceed yung reaction ng tryptophan, ng catabolism ng tryptophan. So magkakaroon ng accumulation nitong 3-hydroxykynurenine, kynurenine, na pag masyadong madami yun, magpo-form siya nito. Formation, ang tawag dito? Formation of santurenate. Okay, so yun yung magiging mas madami dahil nag-accumulate yung 3-hydroxykynurenine. So it will now form another ring kasi nga hindi nagtuloy yung reaction niya na ma-open pa yung ring niya. So nag-form na lang siya ng bagong ring. So dalawang carbon aromatic ring na ulit siya, which is santurenate. Okay? So yan yung ginagamit na diagnostic laboratory para malaman na may vitamin B6 deficiency. Pag mataas yung yung sa urine yung santurenate. So that's hindi ko pala. Pasok ko lang to. Next is methionine. Methionine, it will form SAM or yung S-adenosyl methionine, which is an active methionine that transfers one carbon membrane or one carbon molecule. Okay, so methionine will be interacted with ATP, which is para maging activated na SAM via enzyme methionine adenosyl transferase. Okay, so adenosine connect sa methionine to form SAM or S-adenosyl methionine. And that SAM is a methyl transfer. Nagta-transfer siya ng CH3 or yung methyl nga. Kaya makikita niyo dito sa sa kanyang metabolism, it will become S-adenosyl homocysteine if there is a molecule that needs a methyl group. So an acceptor will get CH3 to form a CH3 acceptor molecule. And then we further converted to homocysteine serine, and that serine will go to its pathway as we've discussed earlier. So serine magiging glycine, glycine magiging carbon dioxide and amino group in our the three enzyme complex. And then cysteine will be liberated, and then that cysteine will become cysteine and keto and alpha ketobutyrate. And that cysteine will yung mag-further cleave to sa yung two pathways, but will eventually yield pyruvate. Okay? And that alpha ketobutyrate will now form propionyl coenzyme A, which is the precursor that I told you, succinyl coenzyme A. So itong methionine, marami siyang may yield na further amino acids na meron ding mga pupuntahang intermediate eventually. So methionine form serine to glycine, glycine carbon dioxide amino group, ammonia, cysteine, pyruvate, and then yung malitirang mga carbon skeletons to form propionyl coenzyme A to succinyl coenzyme A. Now, this is the 3 branch chain amino acids, the last 3 is leucine, valine, isoleucine. So sa first 3 reactions nila, common lang yung mga ginagawa sa kanila, pathway nila before they branch out to different metabolic pathway or catabolic pathway. Yung first is transamination. So ibibigay lang nila yung amino group nila to form an alpha keto acid. And that alpha keto acid, yung next step na mangyayari sa kanila is i-release naman nila carbon dioxide in step number 2 to liberate CO2 to form the third intermediate. So iba-iba silang mga intermediate. And then the last step is the oxidation or removal of the hydrogen. Okay, ito yung first 3 steps nila. Tapos iba-iba yung mga end or branch metabolites nila na mag-yield sa iba't ibang mga intermediate. For example, here sa leucine, sa common pathway magiging beta methyl crotonyl coenzyme A siya. That will eventually yield acetoacetate and acetyl coenzyme A. Nakita na natin yan before dun sa previous intermediate, di ba? Pag acetyl coenzyme A and acetoacetate, they are ketogenic amino acids. Kaya kasama siya sa ketogenic amino acids. Okay? While isoleucine, ang intermediate na important sa kanya is yung digyl coenzyme A. That will yield acetyl coenzyme A, 2 carbon, and propionyl coenzyme A. Okay? So yung propionyl coenzyme A mag-further be converted to succinyl coenzyme A, which is part of the Krebs cycle. Pero yung acetyl coenzyme A niya, dun sa ketogenic part yon. Okay, so isoleucine yon. Next is valine. The valine naman, ang intermediate niya na mag-branch is the methacrylyl coenzyme A, which will yield propionyl coenzyme A din. That will be further converted to succinyl coenzyme A. Okay? Marami lang. But, ito po wala. Last. So, metabolic disorder of branch chain amino acids. Some of the defects are the maple syrup urine disease, which can be seen with branch chain ketonuria. So, nakikita sa ihi na yung mga branch chain amino acid kasi hindi nagpro-proceed yung catabolism nila. So, there is a defect in the alpha keto decarboxylase complex. So, yung decarboxylase, yung second enzyme nila, yung nag-yield ng carbon dioxide. Diba yung common pathway nila yung first 3. So, yung second step nun, pag-yield ng carbon dioxide, dun siya nagkakaroon ng problem, ng defect dun sa enzyme. Kaya nag-iipon yung mismong branch chain amino acid sa katawan dahil hindi na further breakdown. So, it can cause fatal ketoacidosis, neurologic derangement, metal retardation, and maple syrup odor urine. Kaya siya tinawag na maple syrup urine disease. Intermittent branch chain ketonuria. Pag may konting activity pa nangyayari, nagagawa ang alpha keto acid decarboxylase complex. Unlike sa MSUD, which has no activity talaga. So, symptoms can occur later in life. So, since may konting activity pa, later in life pa siya magkakaroon ng symptoms pag nag-accumulate na sobra-sobra yung branch chain amino acids. And also isovaleric acidemia, so there is an impaired isovalerial coenzyme A dehydrogenase, which has symptoms of vomiting, acidosis, and coma following protein ingestion. Kasi nga pag uminom ka ng proteins, pag may mga enzyme problems ka na ganyan, mag-liberate siya ng amino acids. Eh kung di mo naman may metabolize yung amino acids, symptoms ka ng mga ganyan. So that's it. So all of the amino acids are discussed here. So discuss na rin natin all the catabolites, the alpha ketoglutarate, succinyl coenzyme A from propionyl coenzyme A and crotonyl. Yan. And fumarate, oxaloacetate, and acetyl coenzyme A. And we outlined each of the metabolic pathways of the amino acids, and we identified some metabolic pathways, metabolic defects that are associated with the catabolism of the amino acid carbon skeleton. With that, thank you. Do you have any questions? So ito parang ito na yung pinakamahaba kong lecture ngayon. Wala namang tanong. Ngayon, first year pa kayo, so kailangan pag-aralan nyo pa yan lahat. Kasi kahit na hindi nyo na makikita sa practice o bihira nyo makikita sa practice, unless magpupunta kayo siguro ng ibang bansa, doon kayo mag-practice, may mga test sila para ma-determine yung may mga DNA and enzyme test sila para ma-determine yung sakit na yung mga yan. Pero dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, bihira yan na i-test yung mga enzyme testing. And yun nga, yung mga patients usually hindi umaabot sa adult life, yung mga ganyan kasi nga incompatible to life yung mga problems dyan sa mga enzymes na yan. Okay? So if you don't have any questions, thank you. I think I'll see you after the Holy Week na, may last lecture pa ako sa inyo. Sige.
Thank you po, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.